This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right. We've done all the work for you. All you have to do is press play and listen. And you could call me band curious because all my friends like bands and I like music. And I want them to teach me why I should like these bands. Today is no different. We are going to be talking about Killing Joke. And right before I pushed record, I said, "Hey, what's my pun?" I said, whatever. I'll do something easy, and I'll go right at face value." And then I didn't do one. So, just a little peek behind the curtains, friends. I sometimes am quite disorganized.
The joke would have killed if you'd had a chance.
Hey, there you go. Thanks for the save, John. I appreciate that. The righty coming in. All right, so I'm glad you tapped in first because on the order of the sheet, this appears to be a band that you put up on the board. You know, we'll talk about like how it came into play. But John, this may have been on one of those lists that you put up, or it may have been like on a Gavin episode. If you recall, please share. But talk to me about Killing Joke.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was just accumulated, like just to accommodate, like, hey, let's do it. But yeah, Killing Joke is one of those bands, and like I love kind of, especially for you, Justin, like I'm gonna guess that this was brand new to you.
Yep.
I love doing these bands where we like fill in the gap, like we piece together the puzzle that is, you know, quote unquote the 90s, like your Nirvana, your Nine Inch Nails, things like that people know, but they don't know, like those bands just didn't come out of thin air. Like there are bands that were part of the history, like leading up to that throughout the 70s, throughout the 80s, and Killing Joke is one of those bands, and they've been kind of forgotten. Like they don't get the same recognition that like a Joy Division or a Wire or like the Damned, they're just not one of like Susie and the Banshees, Bauhaus, but they were in and around, that time. And I've coming to realize like we've done all these bands like The Clash, The Jam, The Damned, Joy Division, like I said, like the Smiths were starting around, like England in like 1979, 1980 has to be one of the greatest times for music in history. And Killing Joke is part of that. Like they influenced so many things, like they're like post-punk like was happening at the same time that kind of punk was like the Sex Pistols had ended. I didn't even mention the Buzzcocks were around. But like, as you get into the early 80s through the mid 80s, they have this sound, and like there were people paying attention, and those people, like Trent Reznor has admitted, like, yeah, I studied Killing Joke. Helmet, the first time I heard a Killing Joke song was Helmet covering it. All these, like, they put the blueprint for those bands to say, hey, you can take this and make something of it. And all those bands, like the bands from the 90s, took it and ran. But like Nirvana, well, famously, what Killing Joke is probably most famous for is Nirvana ripped off one of their songs completely.
Yeah. Gavin, I think technically speaking, you're the mastermind here because you brought it up in group chat. You said, I think you and John and Andrew were having a conversation trying to come up with a band that you all wanted to do together, and a bunch of bands got passed on. And then you said, what about Killing Joke? So talk to me about Killing Joke.
Yeah, it may have been Andrew actually. I can't remember. I think, but whoever, it was a good idea. So, Killing Joke. So I was in ninth grade in '84, and I was hiding out in the library because I was not together enough to like I couldn't go to class. I
Mm.
just couldn't deal with it. And I don't know why, in my little town in California, they had this book in the library called the Trouser Press Guide to the New Wave.
Hmm.
Trouser Press, like a music magazine, and it was great. They had all really good writers, and they'd give really good reviews of all these really weird bands from the time period that John was talking about, mostly in England. And they were right. They were right. I was reading about Killing Joke, and they said that right before Revelations came out in 1982, the band just freaked out about that the apocalypse was imminent, and they left England and hid out in Iceland
Hmm.
because I thought it was the safest place when the world ended. And they didn't even see the record get released. It came out and nobody could find them. And so I was like, well, I must purchase that album immediately. And so I bought Revelations, which was a little over my head back then, when I
Mm.
was 14. It was too, like, I don't know, it was too aggressive, I guess. Like, I like hardcore and stuff, but that was Revelation, like Killing Joke was something else. And then very shortly after that, they really hit that, I guess what you would call their pop uh phase, like the song 80s just fucking hit college radio like super hard. We were playing that all the time. I remember the first time I had a party at my house, at my parents' house.
Mm.
Let's clarify that. When I was a kid, we I played Love Like Blood and turned it up like super loud, and everybody was dancing. I just felt like on top of the world, like I had the magic key, like the answer. It was our music. And then later I just love that, like, they have a great history, like John was talking about, that runs through underground music, and they're so influential. But they also have this really great history of, like, their relationship with the occult and um ceremonial magic that runs through their whole story in this really interesting way. And they have all of these stories about these incredible things happening, supernatural things happening to their band, and because of their band. And a lot of it has to do with energy, harnessing energy. To see Killing Joke in in London in 1981 would have been like, it's one of those things where, like, the whole room is like throbbing, and like uh everyone's levitating off the fucking ground, and like, like a completely transcendent experience. And I've seen Killing Joke, but not back then. That would have been the time to see them. So I just think they're like really interesting, fucking genuinely weird dudes, super weird dudes, smart. Um, and they've all done really cool shit. Youth, their bass player, went on to produce like fucking U2 and like all these crazy, like really famous bands and stuff. And Jazz worked with Jimmy Page, and like, they've kind of like found their moment in the sun, but they were like scary and real true weirdos when that what mattered and was important to me. Yeah.
Interesting and weird are like excellent words for like how I felt going through this. So we'll get to that in a second. But I don't know if you agree, Andrew. And uh, the buck has been passed to you. Like, I don't know if you remember. Maybe you're the one who put Killing Joke up. But either way, you jumped in and said, "Yeah, I'm in." So talk to me about Killing Joke.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a bit newer to Killing Joke than the other fellas. I only really caught on to them about 10 years ago. I had heard about them, and I think I had heard a song here and there, but I just didn't really it didn't really resonate with me when I was younger. Um, like I was one of those guys who like would only listen to metal and wouldn't listen to anything else. But as soon as I hit my 30s, I just like kind of stopped listening to metal altogether, and I was into like politics and started getting into post punk, and to this day, that's still kind of the type of stuff I listen to. And Killing Joke, I've found since I started listening to them is kind of the perfect mix of like that, political, like speaking truth to power type of um uh oh god, just the like that's kind of how they have always conducted themselves, like especially like with their videos and stuff in the 80s. When you look back, it was all really like overt and obvious that they were what they were trying to say, um like with their music, the way that they visualized it through their videos. And the music's just great. Like jazz is great, like his lyrics and um the rhythm section, like the drums and the bass, it's just got that like militant feel to it. Like sometimes it's just like, I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of just like war music almost, like you're going to war, like you're joining the revolution.
They've got that like industrial sense there. Yeah.
Absolutely. But my absolute favorite part of the band was always Geordie Walker. I'm a guitarist myself, and I just like there's something about Geordie Walker's his style. It's so like weird and like unconventional. Like I don't think I've ever heard him play a power chord. Like it's always like weird. Like I'm not a theory guy, even though I do play guitar. Like I don't know anything about theory, but I just know when I'm hearing these chords, I'm like, yeah, there's something that's like a seventh or a fifth or something. And I don't know, it's just his guitar playing's so cool, and the guitar tone, like it's it's what made me start playing music again. Um, around 2021, I went through this. I mean, obviously you're in the thick of COVID, and I was like listening to a lot of music, and I was already a fan of Killing Joke, but I was more so a fan of um their heavier stuff, like like the 2003 self-titled Killing Joke album is just like, it's so good, it's so well produced, it's so fucking heavy. Like I just absolutely love that album. But um I started getting into the old stuff, and I just loved the guitar tone and loved the style. And I was like, I had not played music for about 5 years. Like had hardly picked up a guitar. And then I start listening more and more to like Revelations and Brighter Than a Thousand Suns, Nighttime. And I just absolutely love his guitar playing, and the way the way that he writes, like that chorus and reverb on the guitar tones. Just, man, I could listen to it all day. Love it, absolutely love it.
It's interesting that you brought up industrial. I guess this is the perfect time for me to bring up that I definitely got. We've talked about like influences on the 90s. I definitely got Ministry vibes at times, which I think technically Ministry started in the 80s, but still, like I definitely got that vibe from them. So it's like they touch a lot of different points, directly and or indirectly. I always like, the way you put it, John, like we're kind of plugging up a hole. Like it's like we're going we're looking at this band that kind of influenced, again, a lot of people, a lot of bands, a lot of music that I like, in whether it's, you know, super direct like Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana, or indirect, possibly Ministry. So, you know, we're touching something that clearly needed to be touched today. And I don't know if I like the way I phrased that, but I'm leaving it there. So, um, uh, let's talk about putting your 20 together for this, because all in all, it ended up being like 66 songs, John. Like, is this a difficult framework, or did you kind of know where you were going from the jump?
No, I mean, originally, like, I was listening on my phone, so I had it on shuffle, which is not something I normally do. Um, and that, like, because I was just trying to, I was like late at night, I was trying to get it done. And listening to it on shuffle is really interesting because, you know, a lot of times, you know, you'll come in with these bands that started in the late 70s, early 80s, like, oh, you know, it's the first album, you know, it's the first album's and then you kind of get this decline through the 80s, you know, as the, you know, the shroud of the 80s creeps in, you get, you know, the music gets shittier. But that didn't really happen with Killing Joke. Like, I like, you know, Fire Dances. There's some great stuff on there. Nighttime, like Brighter Than a Thousand Suns. Like, I I liked a lot, like, kind of all of their kind of like different periods that they got into, and all the influences that they were taking in, and a lot of it is, you know, no pun intended, very 80s,
Mm.
but it was still good. Like, you could tell that, like, they, and I get that goes back to think what Gavin was saying, is that they're just so weird and crazy. Like, they weren't gonna sound like you two,
Mm.
right? So they were still doing it within the framework of who they were, and filtering it through, you know, their occult influences and like the industrial stuff and things like that. And it all was really interesting to me. So it was tough. Like, you know, you normally come in here and I'll be like, oh, you know, I picked 6 from the first record and then like 1 from each one else. But it didn't work out like that. I liked a lot of different stuff. So this was tough.
Gavin, I think you put this list together. I mean, you know, in collaboration with everybody, but as you're putting like the main list for all of us to listen to, are you already kind of putting your list together?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell. I mean, you know, I knew Andrew had some enthusiasm for like the later period Killing Joke, which I don't really know that well. And Killing Joke has a lot of records.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm always gonna like be kind of like tied to the 80s. So I kind of threw it out there to the guys, like, what if we just stick to those records from the 80s, and you know, we agreed to that. I mean, there may be a part 2 for sure. It is. But so I took the EP from 79, the first EP. We did all the 80s records. We did their first B-side, and we did one non-album single from 84. And that was what we did. My list was easy. Like, this was an easy one for me. Like, all the songs um like a bunch of songs jumped right to the front, you know. I didn't struggle in this one.
So, Andrew, you know, this is only your second time here. Was this easier or harder than Cave In? Did you have like kind of the same approach, or did you find that you had to look at this one differently?
I kind of approached it the same way, by just listening through the whole catalog, or the whole, you know, abridged catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of cutting it down, because, you know, every band, there's going to be some songs that you just it's just whatever, like, you don't really care for them. But, you know, after the first run through, I still had 35, maybe 40 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it did take me quite a while. I actually was still at 21 this morning. And I listened through the playlist again today while I was out for a drive, and I was able to knock one off it. But yeah, basically the same same approach I had for Cave In. Just like it with Cave In though, I think I had it down to 25, and instead of like trying to like cut them off the back, I just like decided I'm gonna rank these songs. I'm gonna try to rank these songs 1 through 20, and whatever doesn't make it, doesn't make it.
Right. So I think I'm somewhere along the same space as you were, Andrew. Like I think I had somewhere in the 30 range. I don't remember if I put it into the group or not. But it's I hesitate to say an easy listen because it's definitely challenging, but it's not
Yeah.
it wasn't difficult either. Like I enjoyed listening to them, kind of to the same things Andrew was speaking to before, like with guitar tones and sounds and the way the songs are put together. I really enjoyed the challenge of listening to Killing Joke. You know, sometimes that works in a band's favor, sometimes it doesn't. This time it worked really well. I don't know the order of the records, but I can tell you that I think my sweet spot was Nighttime as far as what I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I had to, my most difficult thing was separating what my sweet spot was versus what do I bring to the table. And so I balanced it against looking at kind of what their popular songs were, seeing if they were kind of already on my list or not. I will say I cheated a little bit. I searched the internet. I went and looked at Reddit. Reddit had a Killing Joke list, and I kind of balanced that against what I had. And you know, if I don't think I let that weigh many decisions, but there were songs that if they showed up in multiple lists, I was like, okay, I'm on the right path with that. That was already on my list anyway, and they felt like the home runs anyway, so they stayed. I'll also say that I asked the internet what they thought, and this is one of the most responded to episodes ever. Like I got a lot of answers for Killing Joke. And within that, you know, my list was already finalized, but I think 15 out of my 20 songs got answered by other people. So I feel relatively good about it. And, you know, that being said, this is a 4-person panel, so you never know. Like, I could feel strong about my list just overall. I feel like there's a couple here where I'm going to say this song, and Gavin's going to go, no, but that's a good choice, man. Like, I love when I get that, like that, you know, Gavin approves of this deep cut that I brought out of nowhere. So that being said, John, like I can't really suss where the 4 of us are. I don't know if you got a vibe, but based on everything we've said so far, how many do you think we get through for unanimously for the final say?
Yeah, like this one is hard because my strategy on these now is to just base it on math and like statistics and just very empirically just look at the math, look at the number of people on the panel, look at the number of songs, and try to guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been relatively successful. I've been doing better lately than I did when I was just kind of trying to go on feel. But for this one, the math, like I'm tempted to go 2 or 3, but I'm gonna think we back into 4. Okay. 4 is my number.
All right, 4 is respectable for a 4-person panel. What do you think, Gavin?
Let's play a Moneyball. I love it. Well, for me, I don't know. So I think that this one, so the first album is a fucking banger.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think we could get 4 off the first album. Like, but then you hit that run of What's This For, Revelations, and Fire Dances, which in my opinion are such dense fucking records. Like there's no oxygen in there. And so any point of brightness on those records kind of jumps out and grabs you because they're just such like I don't know, they're like really dark and intense. And then you kind of come out of that into the light with Nighttime, like Justin was saying, which is a fucking beast of an album. And then it gets a little weird with the last 2 records. So I think that things are gonna jump up for us. I think we're gonna get 7.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
I like the thinking. He's thought it out. It's not, it's not just something getting thrown out there. 4 and 7 are off the board, Andrew. I don't know. I don't know if you've kind of feel free to think about it on air.
I think I'll go in the opposite direction, where there is so many songs, and so many different flavors of sound from album to album. I think I'm gonna go 3.
Okay, that seems plausible. John was talking about the math. 4-person panel, 3 seems like a great number. However, it feels like, and maybe I'm thinking too hard, and maybe somebody played the game, knew that some of these songs could get to the 3 of us, or 3 out of 4 of us. It feels like there's 5 on the table, right, that seem like absolute home runs. So, or at least according to all my research so far. So I'm going to go with 5 since it's out there. I never get to take 5. I don't know what I would pick if I actually win this thing, so we'll see. But I'll take 5. It's on the board. It feels like there's 5 songs that seem about as home run-ish as can possibly be. I'm never right about that, but we'll see heading into the next part. So we're going to take...
We should have done some numerology, some like occult numerology there to figure that out.
Yeah. Fair enough. I always learn more in this first part than I knew about the band. I say this all the time. It always changes like how I feel. Like it's neat to have a bit of the lore of the band going into the next part. So it always makes me wish I had more time to change my list. But, what are you going to do? We're here, and we're going to take a quick pause. On the other side, we're going to play the game. It's deprogrammed. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The 4 of us have combed through a selection of Killing Joke's discography. It was too massive to do all of. And plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you have never listened to Killing Joke. And now, there's several ways to tackle this first play. I can go with one of those 5 that feel like they should be home runs, and maybe they're not. I can do The Thing, or I can do the song that was ripped off. I feel like there's a lot out here that I can. I think I'm gonna go with this because number one, I think this was the answer I got the most. And I wish I had all the quotes up in front of me, but I got a lot of arguably the best song period ever. And definitely a lot of people saying it's easily the best Killing Joke song. So I'm going to start here. How about, and this has already come up in conversation, how about Love Like Blood?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic Geordie Walker song right there.
Ooh, no, I don't have it.
Interesting. Okay. We'll take that 3, though. 3 is not bad. But I thought, as I mentioned, that was a homer. No homer. We'll take a triple. We'll call it a stand-up triple.
Yeah.
All right. John?
All right. I'm going to go with the first time I heard probably a Killing Joke song. It wasn't by them, like I mentioned. It was Helmet covering it on one of their singles. I don't remember exactly what it was on, but it was on their singles collection. And it is the last track on their first record, which, I pride myself on being a last track person. It's Primitive.
Very good. No.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, all right. We'll take a 2.
That song's awesome.
It's going to be a show like that. An episode like that, I see.
I didn't know. I never heard the Helmet. I got to listen to that. That's great.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
That song's relentless.
All right. Take the 2. And Gavin.
I'm going to take this song was, it took me a few years to discover this song, but it's it's a grower. It's grown on me like over the years a lot. The first single off Brighter Than a Thousand Suns. Did you guys take Adorations?
Yes.
No.
I did, absolutely.
Hey. For the record, we did get that answer on Threads. Somebody did have Adorations on there. So we'll take another
Hell
3
yeah.
here. Andrew.
I'm gonna go with probably. So my favorite one was already mentioned because I'm a basic girly, and "Love Like Blood" is my favorite song by Killing Joke.
There you go.
But I'm gonna go with my second favorite, and I think it's a little bit more obscure. It's Chessboards off Brighter Than a Thousand Suns. And just to say, the reason I love this song so much is because it reminds me of Rush.
Oh.
There's just something about it that reminds me of 80s Rush, and 80s Rush is the only Rush that I like.
I
have it.
Hey. So does Gavin. There's that 3.
Well, I hate Rush, but I do have chessboards.
Hey, there we go.
Nice.
Hate Rush. That's strong.
That's kind of crazy. That's a deep cut.
I'm kind of shocked that Chessboards is the first one to go in like on its own.
We're gonna
Me too.
back into that 4. I'm telling you.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting. But I mean, again, I say the word interesting and immediately go, yeah, that would be the way it would go, wouldn't it? All right, hold on. Let me scroll this one up to the top, and we'll get going back in the right direction here. I got to be careful with how much I don't talk because Spotify is starting to pull episodes because of music. Yeah, so as long as I'm talking, I can argue it. I've definitely argued all the ones that they've tried to pull from me so far. All right, Chessboards is in. 3, 4. All right, I'll do the thing. I'll go the other way. This is another one of the ones I got the most answers for. How about Requiem?
Yeah, I got it.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Hey, there we go. I should have went with my instinct and started with that. All right. We will take another unanimous, though. My computer is really slow today. That's all right. As long as it actually works. That's all that really matters. God, that guitar riff to open the song.
Yeah.
Immortal.
So good.
It's so,
And that synth pulse at the first of the song.
Yeah. That's like 1980 coming at you. So
Yeah.
good.
I love that bounce. Yeah, it's so good. All right. Another one in. John.
All right. You guys mentioned Ministry earlier, and this one is a title that maybe Ministry appropriated in a different way. How about Land of Milk and Honey?
Yes.
No.
No, I don't have that one either.
This is interesting because it spawned a conversation on Threads where somebody said, Land of Milk and Honey, of course. And I asked the person, hey, do you think a person who just got into the band would have this as an answer? And they thought I was offended. And I was like, no, sorry, I'm just asking for the pod. But interesting. It's an interesting point. Like, this person thought, of course, this song. And I mean, it's still alive, but it only found 2 of us. So interesting. Land of Milk and Honey gets 2. Gavin.
I'm going to take the single from 84 right before Nighttime came out. Do you guys have A New Day?
No.
I do not.
I do.
Hey.
Nice.
Take that 2. And Andrew.
My next one, I'm going to go from Revelations with the hum.
Oh, fuck. No.
I don't have it.
No.
Oof.
First one in the bin. That one was an answer that we got on Threads. Somebody did say the hum. So just so you know, you're not alone. Just
Yeah.
You're the only one on the panel, unfortunately, that had it.
Yeah.
All right. So this doesn't feel like I should be playing any of the quote unquote obvious ones. How about... All right. This one I got, it's, I think, on the EP. How about Are You Receiving?
Yep, I got it.
Hey.
No,
I
I don't
didn't-
have them.
Okay, so Gavin
I
did.
could have taken everything off all 4 of those songs off the first EP. That's the first song they ever wrote. They
Yeah,
just started together and wrote that song.
Sorry, at the beginning, was that a yes or a no, Gavin?
I don't have it.
Okay. And then a no as well for you, Andrew?
Correct.
Okay, so a 2.
That's
That's all
great.
right.
Are you receiving?
All right. John?
All right. We haven't done anything from What's This For yet, so let's go with Follow the Leaders.
Yes, sir.
Totally.
Yeah, I do have that. That's the only one I have from that album, actually.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. Interesting. So there's another.
Found you guys on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We take that though. And let me find it on here. And just like that, we're up to 3. And this one was, it got some, and I think 4 people said Follow the Leaders. So it wasn't the most,
song.
but it also wasn't the least. All right. Boom. All right. Gavin?
Okay, we're rocketing into my 7. Do you guys have? I took the B-side to Requiem called Change.
Yes.
I don't have that.
Changes it to then? Yep. Gavin and Justin take the 2. Andrew.
Nope, I've got it. Sorry.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got it.
That's all right. So a 3. All right. Boom.
Great song.
Andrew.
I'll go with since we haven't done. I don't think we've done anything off of Fire Dances yet. I'll go another weird one. I'll go Rejuvenation.
No.
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 Oh. That bums me out. We're like hitting at such a high rate. All right. Again, this just does not feel like one where I should be playing what is quote unquote obvious. I'll stay on that record though. How about Dominator?
No.
I don't have that.
Yes.
All right. I'll take that.
Oh,
I'll take that too. Even though, well, I don't know. These 2 are still very much in play right now. All right, John?
All right. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Let's talk about it. How about 80s?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got it.
yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Kind of had to, right?
That's funny. I didn't think you'd take it, John, just because, you
No,
know,
man, it's great.
it nails you to a time. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like,
Also fair,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's a fucking great song. I mean, even without it's just a great song. Yeah.
I think this has to be on our list, not just because it's a great song. I do think that. I think it is one of the better Killing Joke songs. But I think people like me who didn't know about it, as far as being an influence for Come As You Are, I think putting that in people's faces is important. Like, hey, by the way, sure, this band doesn't really sound like Nirvana, but by the way, yes, they do. Like, here's a song that got ganked. So I could easily see it not being our number one, but it should be on the list, and thankfully it is. So just like that, we're at John's 4. I mean, there's some out there that we haven't touched yet, so who knows? Gavin.
I took Complications off the first album.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
No.
So I'm toying when I sent that message like 20 minutes before we went on. That was the song I was listening to about wanting to, like, trying to decide whether I wanted to find a place for it or not. I'm so willing to put my weight behind it. I don't have it, but I'm so willing to put my weight behind it in the next round of conversation if there's room for it.
Cool.
Because I just didn't want to do the work to find the space to put it in. That's really the only reason it didn't find its way onto my list. So it takes a 2. Andrew.
Say, I don't think we've hit Outside the Gate yet, so I'll go with America.
No.
I don't have it either.
That was another one that came up quite a few times online. So
that's such a weird record.
It is very weird.
I mean, like they say, like the common sort of like it's a maligned record, and they're saying that it was like them trying to seduce America and become this big pop band and stuff. That's not what it sounds like to me. That record's fucking weird. It sounds like they tried. I think that record's a failed experiment. I think they tried to do something really dramatic. It's almost like they're like little plays or something. It's it's real. Oh, the songs are really complicated. They're very produced. It just I can't find that record. It's such a strange record.
Yeah, there's a 9-minute song on there. There's a 6-minute song.
Yeah,
a couple get close to 5. Yeah.
I don't know where to go. Again, the homers, the quote unquote homers, don't feel like homers anymore. Like, all right, I'll do another one that got quite a few responses. How about Kings and Queens rather?
Absolutely.
That was a late one to come off of mine.
Oh,
all right. I'll take the 2. It's all right. John?
All right. We've done pretty good with Brighter Than a Thousand Suns so far, so let's try Rubicon.
Yeah.
No.
I don't want that one.
It's crazy. That one was in it's one of the 5 that didn't come up on Threads, and is one of the ones that I was considering taking off for Complications. So I'm glad I didn't.
The last track.
You know what? I didn't even notice. Yeah. Like that tracks. That tracks. Gavin.
We've hit off 4 different records here. Let's try to find something on Revelations. Do you guys have Empire Song?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go.
Hell yeah.
We have 5 different albums.
Nice. Oh man, and just like that, we backed into my 5, but it's not the 5 that I thought. Like at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Very interesting. But again, like, what was the words like we've repeated over and over again? Weird and interesting. So that is definitely what I would say this list is so far. Weird and interesting. All right. Boom, Empire Song. All right, Andrew.
I'm gonna go. I know Love Like Blood is kind of like their big, if you want to call it a ballad, I guess. But another one of their songs that I would consider a ballad that's just a really like beautiful soaring chorus, sorry, is A Southern Sky.
Mm.
Mm,
I don't have it.
no, me
Interesting
neither.
pick.
Yeah, I gave it a second and a third listen, but I didn't pick it.
Boom. Unfortunately, Andrew, you keep finding the bin, man. I feel bad.
I do. No, that's all right. That's all right.
All right. One of you has to have one of these. How about The Wait?
I don't have that.
Yeah, I have it.
All right.
No.
Okay, The Wait gets a 2.
Have you heard Metallica do it?
I
Justin?
didn't, but somebody did mention that. I was like, Metallica covered these guys? Okay. Like, again, it's one of those things where, yeah, that makes sense, but also, like, doesn't. It's
Yeah. Well, Cliff Burton had great taste. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So he was.
so it was early Metallica.
on
Okay,
Killing Zoo.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. All right, we'll take that too. The Wait. John.
All right. Let's try Nervous System.
No, don't have it.
No.
I've got it.
Oh, okay.
Boom and boom. 2 it is. Gavin?
Well, I know this can't be unanimous, but I'm going to see if we can get a 3 on here. I know Justin likes the openers, but John likes a good closer. Do you have the last song on What's This For called Exit?
No.
Unsurprisingly, yes, I do.
Yo, that's a great song.
So 2.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew?
This one was already mentioned, not by name, but by length, and it is the last song as well. It's My Love of This Land, the 9-minute plus song from oh god, I can't remember the name of the album now. Outside the Gate.
I don't have it. That's a weird
No.
song.
No, I don't have it either.
That's an epic.
Yeah.
I will say this: length did not come into like my brain for as far as like what I did and didn't pick. At least not consciously. Maybe subconsciously. All right. Did we already do that one? All right. I'll try one from What's This For? How about Tension?
Oh, I didn't take it. I love that song though.
I did
Yeah.
have it. That is one off that album that was real close for me.
Make it 3. I got it.
Hey, all right.
Man.
All right. I'm into that. We need one more, though, to get me off the hot seat. All right. John?
All right. I'm going to keep it going with last tracks. How about Dregs?
No.
No.
Well, I mean,
All right.
at least you're not the only one in the bin anymore, Andrew.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got 5 in the bin right now.
it's crazy.
That's going to be close to a record.
I don't know. Like, I'd have to go back and listen to Depeche Mode because that one feels like we were just depressed the whole time and it was nothing but bin work. So, at least that's how it felt. So, I don't know if that actually happened.
Oh yes, some of those where the panel is like, or the list is 115 songs, and you just can't
Yeah.
find people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Gavin.
So we need to find one off Fire Dances. So that's the record where they lose Youth on the bass and they get Raven in there, who's also fucking awesome. Do you guys have Feast of Blaze?
No.
Late cat.
No.
All right. Now everybody's finding the bin. I think I'm down to only like 5 left. I think maybe we do.
Only have 4.
Okay, so
I got
let's
4.
finish.
I got
this.
like 7.
We'll finish this round, and then we'll do another round, and then we'll dump out. Andrew.
I'll stay on Fire Dances and go with Fun and Games.
No.
No.
I think that was number 21.
I unfortunately can't remember where anything dumped out. A lot of these feel like they were right there in the conversation. All right. One last round before we dump out. Man. I think I'm going to finally find the bin here. I'll try Fire Dances 1, 2. How about Frenzy?
No.
No.
Ah, dang it. Into the bin I go. All right. John?
How about Unspeakable?
No, I don't have it.
I don't have it.
Oh. All right. I think I picked the right time to start doing the dump out.
It's an unspeakable tragedy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Gavin?
I took The Pandies Are Coming off Revelations.
Yes.
Ooh. No, I don't have it.
No.
We'll take that
A lot
too.
of twos.
Yeah. That was one of the ones I didn't get an answer for. And another one of the ones I considered dropping off for Complications. And I honestly didn't play it because I thought that was going to be one of those ones where everyone was like, no. So, Andrew.
So this is one that I thought would have got a unanimous, to be honest, but now I'm starting to second guess. War Dance.
Yes.
Yep.
You would be correct.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Justin's off the hook.
Yay. It's funny the way you phrase that is the reason I hadn't been playing it, because it feels like the home runs aren't home runs in this episode. So,
Yeah.
especially when you said like the band feels like, like almost like a military advance, like.
Yeah.
So,
What did Unspeakable get? Did that get a 3?
I thought it was just a 1. I didn't.
It was just a 1.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because I didn't have it. All right. War Dance is in. Back to me. Time to dump out, right? I think I only got 3 left now. Yeah, 2 left because I've already did Frenzy. This one was the choice to dump out for Complications, but I ended up not pulling the trigger on it. Europe.
No.
Late cat again.
No.
Yeah, I should have done it. Dang it. And last but not least, Stay One Jump Ahead.
Oh man, such a good song, but it was a late cat.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I don't have it.
Hey, 17 out of 20.
Man, there's something
boy.
about that song kind of I feel like it almost reminds me of like nu metal, like proto nu metal or something.
Yeah.
That might have been why I kept it. I'd have to re-listen. And your boy did 17 out of 20 though. Only 3 into the bin for me, and 2 of them were on the dump out. So I feel pretty good about my list. 6 is going to be our number of unanimous. John.
All right, I've got 2 left. The first one is SO36.
No.
No, I don't have it.
Cool song.
And then, then my last one is Madness.
No.
Don't have that either.
That was one that came up
All right.
a few times on the online there. All right, Gavin.
Tabazan off Nighttime.
Mm.
And then I saved maybe my all-time favorite Killing Joke song for last. I took Turn to Red off the EP, off the first EP.
Tough
No,
to
I
cut
don't have
those.
that either.
Tabzan and
Both those were bins, right, Justin?
Yep. Let me.
That's madness.
I mean, this whole kind of thing was. I feel like in a way. All right, and just for fun, Andrew.
So the 5 that I have left that are going into the bin are We Have Joy, The Gathering, Let's All Go to the Fire Dances, Victory, and Winter Garden.
Wow.
Again, those We Have Joy, Let's All Go to the Fire Dances, Winter Gardens, all songs that came up on the on Threads. All right, I got those 3.
What's Victory on?
Brighter Than a Thousand Suns.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Let me boom reshape that, and then I'll run down what we got already. And then we can move on to the next level. So already in the 6, none of us won, so we've got to talk our way through the last 4. Requiem, Chessboards, Follow the Leaders, 80s, Empire Song, and War Dance. 3 of those were, 1 was a homer, 2 were homer, 3 were homers, yeah. And the rest are like, okay, interesting. I guess we tackle these 3s first. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3. We have exactly 4 3s. Love Like Blood, Adorations, Change, and Tension. Do we just do that? Just take the 3s and call it a day? What do you think, John?
No, it can't be that easy. I think there's a couple of these 2s that I think need to be in the discussion at least. I'm looking at Primitive, A New Day, Nervous System, at least, I think need to be in the conversation.
So let me offer this before we move on to asking Gavin. And I'll ask you this because you were the holdout here. The love Like Blood, the response it got, again, some saying that it's like the best song of theirs. Do we take that before looking at these 2s?
I'm fine with that.
All right. Is everybody cool with taking Love Like Blood?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
let's grab that. And now the other 3s are up against the 2s. John has posited what was it? Primitive, A New Day,
Nervous System.
Nervous System. Hanging
But
out.
it's up for discussion. I'm not saying those
Right.
have to be the ones, but I think those would be. I would put those on an even footing with the other 3s at least.
All right, so let's see. Gavin already had Primitive and A New Day and Nervous System. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the 3s versus the 2s here, Gavin?
Let's see. So I like those 2s, obviously, that we just talked about. I like all the 3s as 3s. I was the holdout on Tension, and that's a fucking great song, so I don't have a problem with that 3. There's the 2s that weren't named that were surprising to me that they were 2s was The Wait and Kings and Queens off Nighttime. So yeah, we're kind of in a mess. I'm not sure.
I didn't vote for Kings and Queens, but I would absolutely be cool with Kings and Queens being on there.
All right. So let's tackle tension first, because Gavin said he'd be willing to put some weight, put a vote behind that. The three of us already had it. Do we go ahead and take that? And then so far, nobody's kind of change in adorations, not necessarily hitting the floor, but they don't have the easy pass. What do you think about tension, John?
Yeah, I like tension. It's got a little bit of a dancier vibe to it, like while keeping the kind of like industrial feel. Like I like tension. I can be okay with that one.
How do you feel about it, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm good with tension. Great song.
All right.
Even though I didn't vote for it, it's wicked song.
All right. So tension.
Well, if you didn't vote for it, Andrew, then it's a 2.
Yeah, I thought you did for some reason.
That's my bad. Sorry.
No.
Oh.
I have you marked on it, so maybe you cut out during it, and I thought you said yes. So
yeah, it's certainly possible.
So if you didn't, then I don't want to cheapen it. It's not a true 3. So I mean, then that leaves the 3s as adorations and change. Are they happy to be here, or are they for real contenders at this point, do you think?
Oh, adorations is for sure.
It's a real contender. Like, again, this is when you were out on, John. Is that one you're willing to lay down for now that, tension kind of isn't automatically in? Or would you still rather play out the 2s?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we already have, we have chessboards from Brighter Than a Thousand Suns, and I know, like, bringing album representation into this is gonna fuck it up even more. But, adorations, if it would probably be below some of those other 2s for me, at least.
All right, so let's leave it alive for now, and let's talk about change. Nobody's kind of brought it up. Is it just happy to be here, even though it got 3?
I fucking love change. It was on the American edition of that record, so the first record. So I was it just was always in my life. We have War Dance and Requiem off the first album. I don't know that change is bringing something essential beyond those 2 songs, because you get a real feel for the first album off Requiem and War Dance.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with sitting out change, even though it's like a super personal favorite.
All right. So, now let's start looking. We're leaving adorations alive for now. We can come back to change, but to me, I feel like we're laying it down. And, so, I mean, does that same, because John posited Primitive, does that mean the same thing for Primitive, because it's off the same record?
Primitive's off the next record.
Okay, so
wait,
yeah, according
No, it's on the self-titled, the first self-titled.
It's self-titled.
I mean, again, like, we're getting messy here. Well, I guess we need to answer the first question. I know truly album representation doesn't matter, but, like, does it?
I don't think we're going to get it on this.
Yeah, I just don't think it's possible. I mean, I guess the more direct question is, does that mean that's it for self-titled?
Not
I think
necessarily.
Is tension
I'm looking
from
at, like,
Fire Dances?
It's from What's This For?
No.
So if we're looking at
for?
representation, I think the only thing from Fire Dances we've got is Dominator. Yeah. So
Yeah, I had 4 from Fire Dances, and they were all binned. So
I had 2, and Dominator got one other person, and Frenzy went to the bin.
Yeah, I had Dominator.
Is Dominator strong enough to be the Fire Dance's representation, or are we just looking at no Fire Dances?
That album is difficult for me.
Okay.
It's not my favorite.
I think that says something, right? It's interesting.
It's definitely a tough listen, start to finish. Even though I had quite a few songs off of it, it's like I really like those songs, but the ones that I don't like on it are just like almost like auto skips.
Yeah.
So then maybe Fire Dances is something we think people should find on their own.
Yeah, my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what about the EP? Like we have Nervous
We need
System and Are You Receiving? Do we need one of those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be good with it.
I don't think we need both, but one of them.
Which way are you leaning?
How about
Gavin?
Are You Receiving, since it was their first song?
Yeah, I mean that's a great stat that you gave us there, Gavin. As far
Yeah. That's fine. I like Nervous System better than Are You Receiving, but it's by a hair. And I fucking love that EP so much. It's so great. Like all four of those songs. So I'm not going to argue against Are You Receiving. That song's great.
Now, again, John, you posited Nervous System earlier, but you had both of these.
Yeah, I'm fine. Are You Receiving is right there too.
All right, so let's grab Are You Receiving then, and then that takes care of our Nervous System.
Great. That's good. Thank you. That's a good one.
All right, and that takes us up to 8, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And now are we just looking at best available? What do we got here?
Yeah. So what are we kicking around? We're still kicking around Adorations.
Mm-hmm.
John brought up A New Day, which I love that single. And then we've kind of put a pin. We've kind of ruled out Change. Complications didn't even get in the mix or exit. Kings and Queens, we kind of had like a little situation with. We didn't talk about The Panties Are Coming. Primitive we weren't really talking about that, right? Oh yeah, we were. We were kind of talking about Primitive.
Yeah, I love Primitive.
Primitive has a ferocity that the other songs on the first album have an intensity. The Primitive, it like fucking is like ferocious. Let's see. So then nothing else, and then I threw out The Weight, but that's also on the first record. So, and then we were kind of kicking around. Wow. So we were kind of kicking around Tension too. Adorations, Kings and Queens, Primitive. I guess it's between those three.
Intention, I think too. Yeah.
So
Intention.
Well,
4, and we're fighting for 2 slots.
2 slots, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we cut 2 and we keep 2.
What do you think, Andrew? We haven't heard much from you.
Yeah, like I'd almost kind of push for Adorations, where it does have 3, and Tension also had 3.
Tension had 2.
Yeah, Tension had 2. We found out.
Tension had 2. That's the one that
we thought you had, and
Oh yeah. And how many did Kings and Queens have?
2.
2. Damn. Oh, Kings and Queens should be on there. I didn't vote for it, but that should be on there. That's a good song.
Yeah.
So by the sounds of it, Andrew's saying Adorations and Kings and Queens. What say you, John?
Can we hear a little bit of Kings and Queens? I know if we can maybe talk over it, but
hopefully it comes through to you, because I think Spotify likes to kibosh that.
Yeah, my own thing is like we took Love Like Blood, we took 80s.
So that
right, we got 2 up nighttime.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Yeah,
and I would even say I would even put A New Day maybe over Kings and Queens. I don't know if that's unpopular,
No, not for me.
but I think Kings and Queens, like, we have songs on the list that do that. I think like what Gavin said about Primitive, you know, reinforces that for me. And I think going back and listening to Tension, that one really stuck out too. I think those would be the two that I would maybe vote for if we're voting.
What I would say to that is that that's cool. I think that both Primitive and Tension are those really intense, like, Killing Joke
That's what
songs.
I like. Yeah, that's my wheelhouse.
Those are right, and then the ones that, yeah, I can tell, because then, like, Adorations is like, they're weird. Calling it pop is obviously not the right word, but it's their weird, like, they're trying, like, I don't know if they're trying. Their sound becomes more commercial, but Killing Joke commercial, which is fucking weird. So, and I would consider New Day in that camp too, John, along with Adorations. I think that's more of like a pop single. So I would put Adorations and New Day in one camp, and I would put Primitive and Tension in the other. And we take one from both camps, maybe.
I like that thought process.
Yeah, good idea.
That's just how I'm grouping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the thought process. All right, what's this for situation?
I think we only have follow the leaders. What's this for?
And again, I know representation doesn't really matter, but if we're saying that Primitive and Tension are kind of in the same wheelhouse, I would rather go for representation, which would lean me towards Tension. Again,
I think Primitive is a cooler song.
It's a very thin argument.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, the first album is considered a legitimate classic of the post-punk era. You know, like, it's
right.
To have 3 songs off the first record is not a crime. You know, I mean, it's like it just came out swinging, that fucking record.
So, do we go Primitive then?
I would take Primitive over Tension, but that's my opinion.
Same.
What do you think, Andrew?
I'd be good with that.
All right. And then, so the other camp is Adorations versus A New Day. I feel like because Adorations had that natural 3, it gives it the advantage to me. Maybe I'm playing a little too hard on what I had on my list versus what I didn't have on my list. But that's the way I lean is Adorations as song number 10.
Likewise.
I guess that's a hard choice. My opinion, A New Day is more immediate. It's a great song. It really, I think, it's the first song, A New Day, that sets them on that path, like, that says we can do like a commercial, we can hit the charts, you know, we can hit the pop charts in England. But Adorations is a more complex, strange song that in my story with Killing Joke has been more rewarding over the years. It's a really weird, I don't know what the fuck to call it. It's like, it's so weird, like, doesn't a vibe. That song is like a total vibe. And Killing Joke's a vibe band, but like, it's a different vibe than their, like, pulsating vibe. I would vote Adoration slightly over A New Day.
All right. John?
Man, it's so close for me. I could go with either one.
All right. So if it's that close, let's take the 3 for the sake of, the rule book, so to speak. and take adorations to round us out. And let me run this down. We worked for this one, fellas. Requiem, chessboards, follow leaders, 80s, Empire Song, War Dance, Love Like Blood. Are you receiving? Primitive and adorations rounds out our 10. John, I read those 10 to you. Which one's jumping out at you as the one?
I mean, I'm looking at this. I mean, you've got the 3 from the first record, but to me, I think Follow the Leaders might be the number 1, which like surprises me, but I think that might be it for me.
What do you think, Gavin?
I think this is a sick list.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad. I love that John just picked Follow the Leaders. That's a wild pick for
Yeah.
like, I always appreciate that. I think it's cool. I think it's totally cool. I mean, there's so many on here that could be number 1. I think like I would probably like my teenager is like yelling at me to say Love Like Blood, you know what I mean? Because that song was so important to me. But fucking Requiem is like just would be a godhead pick too. I'd be cool with Follow the Leaders. I guess my other choice up against that would be Requiem.
Okay, yeah, I like the thought process. What do you think, Andrew?
If the purpose of the first song is to kind of draw a person in, then like, I mean, even if that isn't the purpose, I was gonna say Requiem as well. I'd love to have chessboards or, chessboards, but Requiem's great. It's so good. Like as soon as you hear it, you're not gonna no one's gonna turn that off.
Yeah,
very true. I mean, again,
well, Fredo might, but that's a different story.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't do the thing this time, even though we ended up getting around to the thing. Requiem is the first song on this playlist, whether it's really their first song or not. It is the first Killing Joke song I heard for this, and set me up for what I was about to get. I feel like the Killing Joke thing to do would be to take Follow the Leaders, though, because it's not that, my first instinct, just like you, Gavin, was Love Like Blood, just because some of the comments I got about that song. But the leader in the clubhouse for me, I think, is Requiem. So I think it comes down to, do we take this seriously and try to rope somebody in, which I think Requiem does. Not to say that Follow Leaders wouldn't do that, but I do feel like Requiem's the safe pick versus Follow the Leaders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Requiem, John?
Yeah. No, I mean, I felt like, with Killing Joke, like you said, make the Killing Joke pick, and that one just stuck out to me as like that would be kind of a weird left turn. But yeah, Requiem's a great song with it. Like that's nothing wrong with it.
All right, so let's do that. Like I said, we worked for this list, fellas. I don't mind making light work of our number 1 pick.
We picked a long, what do you call it? Like a large number of songs, right, Justin? Like we were all over the board, right?
I'll try to give you I think I missed like 2 or 3, but I've got us at
37. I think it looks like we have.
There you go.
I had 11 bends.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah. It's funny because, we got the 6 unanimous. We got, the 4 threes, actually 3 threes, and then a bunch of 2s. And then
that's right. No, wait, 37 to 40, 47.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm missing.
No, 40. My math is all wrong. Hold on. 43.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's a number. We had 43.
Yeah.
And 6 is a respectable match, right? Like we did good.
Yeah.
That's
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, none of us hit the number, but again, I feel like that's kind of that kind of was expected because the home runs weren't home runs. And it's just very, very interesting how we came to a very home run of a list for the band. But Requiem is going to be our number one. Let's get that going underneath us here real quick. Requiem is our number one. Chessboards, I did not see that coming. Follow the Leaders, did not see that coming. 80s, Empire Song, War Dance, Love Like Blood. Are You Receiving? Primitive and Adorations rounds out our 10. Let's let Requiem get a moment in the sun. God bless. That guitar riff. And like you guys mentioned, like the synths right behind it. Just, oh. I mean, again, that is the deprogrammed answer. I just want to reiterate, I strongly believe that the Killing Joke answer would be Follow the Leaders. So, all right, we've done it. We have turned you on to Killing Joke. Some of you may have come here from that question on Threads. Let me know how you think we did. Looking at this list, like a lot of these songs got answers. So this band was a lot more popular than I thought, I guess is what I'm getting at. And it's nice whenever we can give this kind of building block for, especially the 90s, like flowers that some people have already given them, but like people like me who just miss them completely. Like some of the bands we've done that are the building blocks I've heard of, just never gave them the time of day. This is a band like nowhere on my radar at all. So very, very good that we can kind of give them the time of the day here, give them a nice little conversation, and hopefully we can put some people on to Killing Joke. Hopefully we did that for you. And if we did, please consider going to patreon.com/ohhijustin. $1 a month gets you in the door. It gets you access to Deprogram Before the Rest of the World. The after the fact conversation that we're about to have immediately goes to the Patreon. Coming soon, our REM Championship editions will go there first, so you can hear those there first. I might release them all at once there. You'll have to wait on the main feed. I don't know. We'll think. Really kind of depends on how fast I can edit them. You also get the occasional "Oh Hi Justin." You get my eternal thanks. Like that's not nothing. And it also gets you access to certain channels in our Discord server, the Legion of Stupid Discord. If you would like to join that and not do all the other stuff, that's fine. Just search up Legion of Stupid Discord and jump on in and come talk to us. We're growing a tree. We're doing some counting. That's, like I said, that's where this panel came together. There was
it's basically kindergarten is what you're saying.
It is very much so. We need to do finger paints next, which you can kind of do on Discord, by the way. It's a dumb time and it's a fun time, and just come have fun with us. And there's a Deprogram channel where you can kind of talk about the show, and then there's like 2 sub channels. There's a Music League sub channel where we have a music league going. You can come in and vote for songs and stuff, and we talk about stuff there. Unfortunately, if you're me and Andrew, we don't do very well in those. So, and then we also have one where it's panelists. If there's a band you want to talk about, you can find people to come talk about that band with you there. Like I said, that's how this episode came together so quickly. It was somebody said, "Hey, what about Killing Joke?" Boom. All these guys said, "Yeah." And here we are a couple weeks later doing the episode. So it's that simple. We are a podcast. You can subscribe, rate, and comment on all platforms now, I believe. But if you happen to be on one of the big 2, Spotify, again, 5-star review would be great. You can leave a comment on whatever episode you're listening to, this Killing Joke one. Hey, this song is great. This is a song I would have. Oh man, I can't believe that song went in the bin. However you want to do it. But if you're going to leave a comment, please rate us 5 stars. It gets us more visible into the algorithm. Same goes for Apple Podcasts, where a majority of you happen to be listening. A 5-star review would be super helpful to us. Sharing is, of course, caring, but the absolute best way you can help the show is by telling somebody that you listen to it. Hey, I listen to Deprogrammed, and you should too. And with that, Killing Joke. Learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.